If you own a gun in America, the legal ground just shifted dramatically under your feet this month. A federal appeals court handed down a decision that tears apart decades of gun control framework, and 10 massive changes are already in effect right now. Law number 10 is so shocking that what used to be a 10-year federal prison sentence is now your constitutional right. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications immediately, because what I'm about to show you could be the difference between staying legal and facing serious criminal charges. Law 1. The Constitutional Shield. A massive shift just happened in how courts treat your gun rights, and if you miss this, you're going to be caught off guard when everything starts changing around you. Federal courts are now treating your Second Amendment the same way they treat freedom of speech and freedom of religion, which puts it at the top tier of constitutional protection. This matters more than you think because it completely reverses who has to prove what in court. Every time any level of government wants to pass a restriction on firearms, they now face what lawyers call strict scrutiny, the toughest standard that exists in American constitutional law. Now, they have to prove 3 separate things, and all 3 have to be rock solid. They need to show a compelling governmental interest, meaning the problem has to be urgent and severe, not just something that sounds like a good idea. Most importantly, they have to prove there's no other possible solution that would restrict your rights any less than what they're proposing. Constitutional scholars who've studied this ruling say between 60 and 70% of current gun regulations across the country will fail this test. But this new protection only works if the people enforcing these laws actually face consequences when they violate your rights. Law 2. Officer Accountability. Law enforcement officers who violate your Second Amendment rights now face direct personal liability, and this is already changing how police interact with armed citizens across the country. There used to be a legal doctrine called qualified immunity that worked like a bulletproof shield for officers who violated constitutional rights. That shield has been completely stripped away for Second Amendment violations. Any law enforcement officer at any level, whether it's a city patrol officer, a county sheriff's deputy, a state police trooper, an ATF special agent, or an FBI investigator, can now be held personally responsible when they violate your gun rights. In Harris County, Texas, a judge ordered 3 officers to personally pay $2.4 million after they arrested someone for open carrying when Texas law explicitly allows it. A Broward County, Florida officer is facing federal charges and lost a pension worth approximately $890,000 over his career after confiscating legally owned guns during a traffic stop when he had no legal authority to do so. Out in Maricopa County, Arizona, a sheriff's deputy got hit with a personal fine of $156,000 and a permanent ban from working in any law enforcement position anywhere in America after he held on to someone's concealed carry firearm for 6 hours without any legal justification. Officers are being warned in the most direct language possible that violating gun rights will destroy their career and their financial life. Law 3. The end of gun confiscation. Taking someone's firearms without following complete criminal procedures has been ruled unconstitutional, and people who lost guns under these programs are getting them back right now. Red flag orders, civil forfeitures involving firearms, and administrative confiscations have all been struck down under the new constitutional standard. The way these programs worked was genuinely disturbing when you look at the details. An ex-spouse going through a bitter divorce, a neighbor who didn't like you, someone you got into an argument with at work could file a complaint. Police would take that complaint to a judge and get what's called an emergency protective order or a red flag order. Then, they'd arrive at your home, sometimes without you even knowing a complaint had been filed against you, and every firearm you owned would be confiscated on the spot. The recent ruling makes the requirements absolutely clear. Firearms cannot be seized without placing someone under arrest. The entire process requires full due process protections, including the right to confront accusers, question witnesses under oath, and present defensive evidence. Across 21 states that had red flag laws, police confiscated firearms in roughly 15,000 cases last year. In more than 2/3 of those cases, no criminal charges ever got filed.
Some states took an average of 14 months to return firearms, and gun owners spent between $8,000 and $12,000 on average in legal fees fighting to get their own property back. Anyone who had firearms taken through red flag orders or civil forfeitures within the last 5 years now has clear constitutional grounds to demand immediate return. Time is limited, though, because most states have created a 90-day filing window. Law 4. Database Deletion Order. The federal government has 90 days to permanently destroy every digitized gun owner record they've been collecting, and this represents one of the most significant privacy victories for firearm owners in American history. The ATF spent years building an enormous searchable database tracking who owns which guns, and the scale of what they compiled is staggering. When gun dealers closed their businesses, the ATF collected all their paper transaction records and digitized them into a searchable system. The system let them type in any name and instantly see every gun purchase that person made. They could search by firearm type and find everyone who purchased AR-15 rifles or any specific handgun model. The violation goes even deeper. 6 states were actively feeding information directly to federal databases through information sharing agreements. California, New York, Connecticut, Illinois, Maryland, and New Jersey all sent state-level purchase records to federal servers where they were indexed and made available to multiple government agencies. The court gave the ATF a hard 90-day deadline to provide certified proof that every digital record has been permanently erased. Independent forensic computer auditors have to verify the information cannot be recovered through any means. Law 5. Surveillance Shutdown. Federal agencies are now prohibited from conducting surveillance on lawful gun owners without obtaining warrants, and the monitoring programs that just got terminated are absolutely shocking. Government agencies spent years tracking gun owners through digital footprints in ways most Americans never suspected were happening. The NSA ran a program with an internal designation of Gun Watch that automatically flagged people based on internet searches. Searching for terms like bulk ammunition, AR-15 parts, concealed carry laws, gun show schedules, or FFL transfer procedures put you on a monitoring list. The Department of Homeland Security operated a separate program monitoring firearms purchases through the financial system. Spending over $1,000 on guns or ammunition within any 30-day window automatically flagged your name for analyst review. Every one of these programs has been completely shut down following the court ruling. The decision makes it explicit that owning guns is a fundamental constitutional right, and exercising that right cannot justify government surveillance. Law 6. Permit Processing Overhaul.
Concealed carry permits must now be issued faster, easier, and cheaper regardless of which state you live in, with 3 mandatory requirements every state must follow. Processing must be completed within 30 days maximum from submission. Total application fees are capped at $50, including all associated costs, and states cannot require showing special need or proper cause. States like New York were taking 8 to 12 months to process single applications. California charged $300 or more when combining all fees. New York currently has 47,000 permit applications pending for more than 30 days. Hawaii had issued only 226 total concealed carry permits in the entire state before this ruling. They've been forced to approve over 3,000 applications in the past month alone. Any permit application pending more than 30 days is automatically approved by federal law right now. Law 7. Ammunition Access Restored. Ammunition purchases are now treated identically to any other legal product, with states prohibited from imposing special restrictions that don't apply to other consumer goods. California required background checks for every ammunition purchase. New York banned all online ammunition sales. Connecticut imposed limits on ammunition quantity. The court stated what should have been obvious from the start: restricting ammunition while claiming to protect gun rights is equivalent to protecting free speech while banning paper and ink. All those restrictions are now unconstitutional. Law 8. Dealer License Safeguards.
Licensed firearms dealers finally receive the same legal protections as other legitimate businesses, ending the ATF's ability to shut down gun stores over minor paperwork mistakes. The ATF cannot revoke federal firearms licenses unless there's an actual criminal violation with intentional lawbreaking and criminal intent. Law 9. Warrantless search ban. Federal agents are now prohibited from entering property for firearms inspections without warrants, ending surprise compliance checks completely. Federal agents need warrants with specific criminal allegations before searching property. Law 10. Cross-state transport freedom. Traveling across state lines with firearms no longer carries arrest risk in restrictive states. This is what previously carried 10-year mandatory minimum federal prison sentences that's now completely legal and constitutionally protected. If firearms are legal where trips start and where trips end, federal law provides protection during the entire journey through every state in between. These 10 laws are active right now, and they only protect you if you know they exist and actually use them. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss critical updates. Share this with every gun owner you know.